with the king of PV in South Australia, Eddie May. Ed, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, brother.
This is your second one now that we've done. Something that happens pretty often at PSC, actually daily, is that we go to site to install a system and we actually have to remove an old system and dispose of it, recycle it, whatever it is. And seeing as, you know, your background service and my background's electrical, I think it's a great topic to talk about.
Sure, yeah.
What are your thoughts? Do you guys experience the same thing? Well, firstly, what's the penetration in SA? How many roofs have solar?
Yeah, look, it's over 60%, 70%. Yeah, so we were really, really early adopters in SA, right? And we're not as big, right?
Yeah.
So we've just got such a high penetration.
Wow.
We've got a suburb called Shido Park, and, you know, actually we were driving up there the other day and Blake, my son, said, every house, you know, like, you'd not make sales in that suburb, would you? I'm like, no. They've all got solar. Yeah. And he spotted it, and we were just like driving it. It's like,
that's insane.
Like every 20 houses, you'd see one without solar, right? So the penetration, huge. And I think to your point, I would say for us at NRG Solar, at least 1 in 10 jobs that we go to, and maybe more, we would be removing a solar system. And I don't love removing solar systems, right? Because I come from that repair. If there's an old, SMA inverter, 2 kilowatt, you know, and 8 panels, and they're doing their job, and it's a really good install, I think, you know what, who cares if it's 8, 10 years?
Let it go.
Let it go. Let's complement that with a system. Let's try and marry up the monitoring and give a better experience to the customer. But let's not throw that into landfill. Let's leave it there. The problem is they're very few and far between. A lot of what we see is rubbish.
It's just crap.
It's just got to be taken off. It's probably not even safe anymore.
Compliance.
Right, and it's definitely not
Are you going to bring it up to standard, which we are supposed to? You have to if you're going to leave it there. The problem is, though, Ed, with a lot of these systems is that they'll put on the most prime real estate on the roof. You know, they're smack straight on the north or the west or whatever it is, and they weren't really thinking ahead. They put the row straight through the middle of the roof. So then there's kind of the debate of what's it cost to relocate this versus, you know, maybe the client could actually sell it potentially. You know, there are a whole heap of different ways to look at it. But do you think it's a problem? You know, we're coming into this, and if I had asked you this question 2 years ago, it wouldn't have been 1 in 10. It would have been less.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, these old systems seem to be kind of rapidly failing, or people's energy demands are going up, so they're wanting more energy available, and that old system just isn't cutting it anymore. Yeah,
that's right. And I think, well, you know, one of the things is that we're taking a lot of effort now, and I know you guys do as well, with how it's going to look. Right? You can't just mismatch panels around these old 8 panels that are sitting there. You've got so aesthetics is playing a key role. So it's energy, for sure, because every customer we speak to, if their next car is not an electric car, the one after that 100% will be. They know that, right? So they want to do it now. They want to do it right. They're not putting on 6 kilowatt systems. They want 10, 13. They want to be able to set their house up, right? And you can't do that there. So it certainly is all of those factors. It's a problem, right? And I don't know exactly how to describe what the problem is, but what's worrying is that I drive past the same crap still getting installed now, right? And I go, are we going to be... Look, I'm watching someone do that job, thinking...
With no harness,
no care for
a rental van. They're in a Hertz rental van or something like that. Slapping this crap up.
And you know for certain that that's not sustainable. That company won't be in business.
No.
And no one's going to want to support it. No electrician should have to go put their name to fixing that.
No.
Because now they're responsible for someone else's rubbish. So I think the problem's still there. I think it's getting worse.
You think it's getting worse?
I think it's getting worse, because the problem is that system, I can guarantee you, imagine how that came about. That's been bought off the TV with no care factor.
The door knocker potentially.
No thought about the future. It's not really designed for that home.
It's like an impulse act now buy. Rebates are ending tomorrow. You've got to get it today. They don't have time to do any due diligence or anything like that, and it's just a pressure sale. That's what it is that leads them into that situation. And I mean, I guess back when these systems were bought, it's still happening today. Everyone has access to Google reviews. They do paint a pretty good picture most of the time. But yeah, it is a problem. And the remark you made before about aesthetics, that's huge. That's in customers' like sometimes top 2 priorities. They're like, we want to cover and reduce our bill, but my house is beautiful. And because property is so expensive, it's valuable. Often, most of the time, it's their greatest financial asset. So they don't want to dump this ugly thing on their roof. Like, they're really worried about aesthetics, which is great. They're our type of clients.
Yeah,
clients that really care. So yeah, that's going into play. We don't, I've got a general design rule, you don't do 2 different types of panels on one roof face. If it's that face, it's got to all be the same panel. Same way, same, if it's landscape, it's landscape. If it's portrait, it's portrait. Like, it's got to look good.
Yeah.
You know, what we're experiencing at the moment, you know, everyone's got social media, Ed. You know, everyone knows how to throw the keyboard around, right? Whack it across someone's head. Sometimes when we post ads or we post things on Facebook, we'll get that person who's had a bad experience in the past because they impulse bought off a door knocker or something. Yeah. And they'll comment, this shit doesn't work. Yeah. Biggest scam of 2023. Yeah. And I just want to like sit them down like this and just show them that that's not actually how it is.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, we have so many clients. A text message I got this morning, I just showed you. Yeah. A client said, this is the greatest investment my household has ever made. I will happily display your call flute sign. That's what we're delivering, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But how to, like, what are some ways people can avoid not getting that experience, or getting the experience where they've got to rip their system off in 5 years and they're going to be angry because they think they bought tier 1 or German made or whatever they think they bought, and they actually ended up with potential landfill. What's important?
Like, you know, it's interesting. There's a few things that are really, really important, right? And you know what? It's the basics, Jake. It's actually the basics. Sure. Read your reviews. Now, I got some reviews sent to me. I got a thing sent to me the other day. Rubbish company, right? And I had to say to the guy, in this instance, you've probably got to read about every 10th review. They're the real ones. Because this is fake. These reviews are repeated over and over through here. Right. So just, you know, don't read. Don't just say 4.4 stars is not too bad. Right? That's the first thing. The second thing, understand you're entering into a 25-year deal. Yes. Who's going to answer the phone when you have a technical problem? And solar is becoming less and less electrical, more and more IT, more and more, and you need support. Right? And someone's got to answer the phone. So have a look at the business, drive past their office and go, go and say, can I go meet someone in your tech support team?
That's a good one.
Go and say.
Go to their office and say, can I have your service department?
Show me your tech support guy. Or even ring them up and say, can I speak to tech support, please? And when they go, oh, even more, you know, hang up and go somewhere else. Right? You know, and
that's just
put them to the test. You know, like actually dial their number of the office and put them to the test. Say, if I need to change my Wi-Fi password, how can someone help me? Right? And you'll start to figure out, are they winging this? What's going on here? Or do they actually just have a process? We have a process. First thing we'll do is we'll say, look, before we get started, we'll drop you this video. It's a 1-minute video. Have a go. If that doesn't work, ping us. We'll call you. We'll help you over the phone. If that doesn't work, we'll come out to your house and sort it out.
Importantly, though, there's something of substance there. You know,
there's a process.
There's a process. Yeah, absolutely. So, man, that's so important. And I heard this stat the other day from Warwick Johnson, the sun wizard himself. And Warwick said that an average solar company is reviewed higher than a great restaurant, meaning that there are so many fake reviews in solar that everyone's got a 5-star review, like rated 4.8, 4.9, 5 stars. So he's done this recent project where he's dug deep into people's reviews. And I think something that you should really, really look for when you're reading reviews is, did the person who left the review leave a name? Hey, Eddie did such a great job on this, and the installer, Catherine, or whoever it might have been, smashed it out of the park. They are genuine reviews. When it's just a 5 stars with no comment or great install, there's very little substance to them.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Like reading reviews. I mean, we've got one guy at NRG Solar, Michael, his name is, right? You know, and when he talks to people, he always says, you know, like, and don't forget Michael. Put my name in the review. Because, you know, he's like proud of what he's proud of what he's designed. He's proud that the customers ended up with a good experience. And you know, and what a way to live life. And he loves to see his name up there, right? So I think, you know, that those two things are really quite important. And I guess the other thing is just really, you know, going back to that point about that long-term relationship, right? Really just not rolling the dice. I feel some people gamble, right? They take a gamble with stuff, right? Totally. And you just go, you know what? There's probably a 30% chance
that it could come off.
That this could work. And that's good enough odds for me, because that's the same punter that'll put $100 on a longie and not worry about it, right? And I think if you're that person, do that. Go to the racetrack. Don't do it with a solar system.
Dude, here's the thing too. You're not. It's double or nothing. You're putting down $100 that the solar company will service you well. Then they're always using subbies, these guys, right? Then you're putting another $100, so you got a 30% chance they'll service you well. Then you put another $100 that you're actually going to get a good subbie. Now there are good subbies out there, right? I was one of them before we said we can do this better. There are good ones, but there are ones they're all paid by the panel. There are ones whose mentality is, get this thing done, let's get to the second job today. Do you know what I mean? So you roll the dice on the company. Are they going to be there? Are they going to service me? Do they have after sales service? Then you're rolling the dice on the subby, and all these companies go, we've got our own full-time guys. Well, no, you actually don't. These are subbies that you use pretty often. Doesn't mean they're your full-time guys. You haven't trained them. You haven't got a training facility. You've put zero effort into them. In fact, you don't care when the apprentices are at TAFE. It's not your problem, you know? When the apprentice is at TAFE, the subby can get in a lackey. Who gives a shit, right? Bring him in. It doesn't matter. He'll be wearing board shorts. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of experience you're rolling the dice on. Yes, the products could actually be the same. But that's not the most important part, Ed. The most important part, tenfold, in my opinion, is the company who's going to be on your roof and servicing you long term. 100%. It's so overlooked.
I've said this so many times on social media. When people put up 3 prices, right? And then random people who, like retired engineers and whatever, know everything about everything, you know, comment on the products. And I've actually got it in my notes now, and I just copy it and I paste it into social media. And you know what I say? I say, a great company, and I used to use Gippsland Solar as an example when I started doing it. I said I could give rubbish products to Gippsland Solar, and I reckon that customer would be pretty happy. And I can give, you know, Fronius SunPower or REC to a rubbish contractor, and they will screw that job royally.
100%.
Right? And that's the thing, right? So having your own in-house electricians and staff members is critical.
It's critical to a great experience.
It is. Because the other thing that we can do that you can't do that, right, is that we can, like Dan in our office will look at a job and go, listen, that looks tricky. Let's get 5 guys on that job. I'll steal 2 from that easy job today because they'll be fine. And rather than these guys like being under pressure, stress, trying to get this job done in a day, like they've now got, and right, guys, take a day and a half. You've got a couple of extra guys. We just did an aged care facility. It was not huge, like I think it was 50 kilowatts. All terracotta. And you know, they showed me this quote from, I don't want to say rubbish, right? And I'm like, bro, there's no way they can do that job properly. I've allowed this many days on that job. And he's like, oh, I don't know if it's going to take that. I'm like, well, it is if you don't want your roof smashed in. You know, and that job that we've just finished is schmick. Right? But it required us to have extra guys. And it required us to take our time. And not break the roof tiles and stuff like that. So having your own in-house guys, you know, that's another thing, right? And I'm not talking about subbies that wear your shirts. I'm talking about like they're your truck, they're your apprentice, they're your guys.
And here's the pro tip for those playing along at home. If you've been sold that the company has their own installers or whatever, ask them to go and watch them install, you know, before you make a decision. Say, right, give me a street that they're in. I mean, you probably can't give out an address. Go and watch how these people operate. Is the site clean? And here's a pro tip for you. If the vehicle's not sign written, they're not their full-time team members. If the vehicle that they're in is not sign written,
it's true.
they're subbies.
Yeah.
They're subbies.
Yeah.
Straight up, who are getting paid by the panel. Now, why does that matter? You might think they've got a CEC accreditation. Yes, they do, right? Most of the time. It matters because when you have full-time team members and you've allocated hours rather than allocated panels, they're not getting paid by the panel, they're getting paid by the hour. And we run install crews of 4. And I said the other day, we're running them at about 80%. It's important because if they've got a decision to make, take the blue pill or take the red pill. Do we take this shortcut to get this thing done a little quicker so we go to the pub for lunch or whatever, or get on to our second job? Or do we take the other pill and do this right? We know this is going to take half an hour longer to grind the tiles properly or to make sure the array is perfectly level to ensure that we're not going to get a roof leak. The in-house guys that are getting paid hourly are actually incentivized to do that because they will get paid more to make the right decision. The guys that are getting paid by the panel get paid less to make the right decision.
Yeah.
It's a really simple equation. It would take a very strong moral compass for a subby to actually stand there and go, I will take the longer option and get paid less.
Yeah, look, that's totally true. And you know, we're a little different because I still got I still do some contract work. But what's interesting, you know, like I wouldn't get our guy, we just put some EV chargers in at a shopping centre, right? Yeah. I contracted the concrete work. Yes. I wouldn't get my guys to do concrete work. They don't know how to do that.
We're not good at that.
And I do have some contractors that I personally believe for specialist type work are even better and more experienced than some of my in-house guys. So I do take that approach as well. Dan will look carefully at our jobs and say, you know what? This actual job suits that company. But that is very hard to find.
Yes.
And we will pay extra for that to happen. Just the same as we paid extra to get a concreter guy who came in and pulled all the conduits for us and got this EV charger set up. So,
but that's rare.
It's very,
the client's still got to roll that dice.
Yeah,
it's the $100.
Look,
you're the like 15% chance that could happen.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's what it is. So. And I agree. And the way we combat that, if we think this is a really challenging job, we always combat it with time. It's always time. Okay, you're going to need another.
That's the one thing you've got.
We've got that. You're going to need another day on that job.
Yep.
You're going to need another 2 days on that job. You're going to need a boom lift on that job.
Yep.
You're going to need extra resources. You're going to need the air hook crane. You know, that's how we combat that. You know, and more manpower than less.
Yeah.
That's so man or woman power.
Yeah,
either, you know, than less. So that's important, man. Something we're both really passionate about.
Great topic.
And it's a cracking topic. And let's wrap her up.
Right.
Any takeaways, Ed? Anything you want to leave the people with?
Look, I just think make good choices, right?
Yeah.
Just make really good choices.
Yep.
Don't rush your decision. Find someone that you like, someone that you trust. Check them out, and then go for it.
Yep.
Don't go and get 9 quotes and go and get confused. It's ridiculous. Find someone that you like. And then just go for it. And if you got something's not quite right, don't do it. Just find someone that you like.
Yeah. My takeaway and my one thing that I've always believed in, solar company is the first thing you should be comparing. Inverters are the second, panels are the third in importance.
Yeah.
Solar company's number 1.
Yeah.
Inverters second, panels third. Yeah. Everything else after that, still very important. Balance of system, racking, what circuit breakers are they using? Are they using an iBoard? Are they using an inverter cover? Whatever it might be, solar company first.
Yeah.
Sweet, Ed.
True.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. We hope you enjoyed this. Ed, do you want to tell them to drop a like or a share or something? No?
Get on nrgsolar.com.au, like, share and comment.
Thanks, guys.